Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this week. We are gonna go ahead, run our intro, and we will be right back as soon as I can find it.
Welcome to the Sisters of Legacy. They are building a community through great conversation. They are speaking truth. They are speaking life. It's time to do more. Join us each week. Welcome to the Sisters of Legacy.
All right, that is quite an intro. Listen, there's so much stuff that my husband creates, and then me being me, I have no idea what to do with this stuff. So, in the course of pushing the button, we had a nice little nifty intro. So, ladies, welcome this week
Hello.
to the show. We have the lovely Shanetta McNair and Katrina Taylor,
Good evening.
and I am Samantha. So, typically, we are on every Thursday. Um, yeah, where we could keep a chokehold on our life. We managed to get on here at 8 o'clock. But wearing so many hats, being so many things to so many people, sometimes we have to throw a quick rerun up, or depending on the circumstance, sometimes we don't get to put anything up. But this week we are here live and in living color, and we thank everyone for your support, whether you watch a replay or you watch us live. We appreciate you. And ladies, of course, I appreciate you, because when I call, you guys come. It make me feel so very special. So, ladies, how have your weeks been?
Pretty good week. I am on fall break, so
Nice.
Okay. All right. Any plans for fall break?
I did it today. Just
Okay.
got fixed.
Okay. And Trina, how's your week going?
Not too bad until this morning. I had a migraine, but I'm better now. So thank God for that.
Yes. Thank God for better. That is
Mhm.
always uh, a plus. Hi, Vanessa. You're on the other side, but we'll take the comments since we can't get your face. Um, so tonight we are going to talk about the phases of life, and just maneuvering through the changing of the phase, and or the changing of the season. Um just kind of weathering, evolving. Sometimes evolving is painful. Sometimes evolution is painful. Sometimes when things change, it's uncomfortable. Sometimes you're forced to let go of things that you weren't ready to let go of, things that you thought you wouldn't have to let go of. So, with the phases of life and the changes of life, um, comes a lot sometimes. And I know personally it has been coming with a lot. And sometimes I feel like I'm chasing it. Not quite sure what it is, but whatever it is, I'm chasing it. So tonight we are going to talk about it, and hopefully say something that will help you with your next change, your next level of evolution, or just give you hope to keep on keeping on. So, Trina, I'm gonna start with you. I know you was just so ready. So, let's see. How do I phrase this question? So, okay, you are of the age you are. Leave that up to you if you want to say that on live. That's a personal thing. But do you feel like at this stage in the game, your children are adults legally?
Right.
Um, right.
Right.
They are adults. They kind of have their own separate lives apart from you. So you're basically like an empty nester, more or less.
Hmm.
Um,
Sort of.
yeah,
Like roommates.
Yeah, but it's a whole different. Yeah,
Right.
that's the whole thing. Like it takes on a whole different meaning when they're roommate as opposed to, you know,
Kids, right?
whatever. Right. So, talk to us a little bit about what phase you feel you're in.
What phase am I in? Well, I think that's it. Like I have roommates now, you know. Um, as far as and I say that loosely because clearly they're not paying half the bills or anything like that. But just as far as I used to feel like I was running their lives, and so I was running 3 lives, and this person got to be here, got to get them there, gotta. Now it's more like if I don't feel to cook, guess what? You're on your own. But I mean, it's good and it's always good parts and bad parts. Not even bad parts, but just like I was thinking the other day, I miss going to games to watch them play or watch my daughter dance or whatever. I miss those things. I don't miss the ripping and running part of it, but I miss just seeing them perform or whatever. So I try to look back and appreciate that time and also appreciate this time as well. I appreciate, having free time to myself. And, I was thinking of things, a couple of things that I want to do with this extra free time that I have now that I'm not ripping and running. So, there's some goals that I have. I still want to learn how to swim. I've tried 3-4 times, but I'm gonna give it one more try. I'm gonna give it one more college try. I'm gonna learn how to swim, hopefully. And I also been thinking about taking some Spanish classes. I mean, I took plenty of Spanish in high school. Can I speak it? No. Can I recognize a couple phrases? Yeah. But I'd like to be more fluent in it. So I have time now to pursue some of my own goals that I had.
Okay, so learning to swim. Have you ever taken actual lessons?
I have, and it's
not on YouTube, right? Not with YouTube.
No.
It works.
You took YouTube lessons? Did it work?
So this summer, I was committed to learning how to swim because, again, like I want to know how to swim and I want to be able to do things for like when we go on these trips and we're surrounded by water.
Right.
This summer, so I did. I got up. We were at an Airbnb in Florida. We had a pool in the backyard. I got up early one morning while everybody was sleeping. I found me a lovely YouTube tutorial and I learned how to swim.
Really? It worked?
So, I mean, it worked with my floaties on. I mean, I drowned. And I could do the techniques. Like I have the technique. But I'm definitely not going in deep water without the floaties. However, in my mind, I definitely feel like I can swim. And the funny story is that early pictures, while I had on like the goggles, the swim cap, all the stuff, and they rolled through our Amazon pictures, and my daughter was logged into our Amazon account, and she sent me a picture of her TV because it was scrolling the pictures, and she was like, "It's giving swimmer," and I was like, "Yes, because I can swim, girl."
That is hilarious. I love it.
Techniques though, like the guy like really made it easy, and I was like, "Oh, in the world, I can do that," and I did it. With the float.
With the floaty.
Yeah, so no YouTube. We're gonna let that one go. Okay, so you want to learn a language, learn to swim, and I know you said you had some other goals that you're working on. I know like there of course have been some big changes in your life that you didn't see coming. But I'm saying like if you look back, let's just say maybe like the last 10 years, do you feel like in the last 10 years, so start from 10 years ago, do you feel like your life has taken the path that you wanted it to take these last 10 years?
Professionally, I think so. I think I needed to take the break that I did. Um, Personally, no. I thought I might have found me a somebody, but I haven't. But I'm good with it. But I'm just saying, I thought that, but here we are. Praise God.
Okay. I'll move on to Shanetta. We're going to go back to Trina. So, Shanetta, what phase do you feel like where do you feel you are right this minute?
So, being the true Shanetta that I am, I wanted to Google like the life stages just to see like, what they were. And they didn't make me as satisfied as I thought it would as far as like identifying one, because basically in adulthood or I'm aging. And like I definitely know I'm an adult. Like that's been clear for a very long time now. But I'm not sure that I'm ready to like say, oh, I've moved into the aging phase. If you ask my kids, they're definitely going to be like, oh yeah, you're getting old, you're aging. Like it is what it is. Have a nice day. And would say it with no like remorse whatsoever. Right. But I don't feel like I'm like aging like what I really truly consider aging. I'm growing up, of course. This is what we're going to call it. But with the kids entering into their young adulthood phases, and kind of like becoming a little bit more independent, but still yet dependent on us in so many ways. I feel like we're kind of in that phase, like where they're part-time roommates, I guess, like Trina said, like they come home and they're here, and when they're here, and when they're here, they're completely dependent for the most part upon us, and we still have to go back and do the things and make sure there's food and make sure that they have all the things and make sure that people have keys to cars. And I still have those moments like, oh, it's late, they're not here, and I kind of want to stay up and wait for them, but my growing up body is like, yep, you're waiting, and then you next thing you know, you wake up and it's the morning time. So so like kind of like in that phase of life where like I'm seeing my kids get their own sense of independence, so it's creating more space for me to kind of do things that I enjoy doing, like travel and go out on dates with my husband and just kind of enjoy time with us together. And it's like we're getting our lives now, because our marriage kind of started off with children and with people. So some marriages start off where it's just you and your spouse and you have that time together before other people enter. And then some start off where there are already people there, and there were people there. So like, we always had company. So now it's like we have moments where we don't have to have company. And it's like, this is pretty cool. Like, I still kind of like you. Like, let's go hang out. Let's go do some stuff. So that's kind of where we are, where I am, like, where we can kind of do the things that we want to do for us. And it's not like second guessing, like, oh man, well, if I'm too selfish, or if I do this for me, then I'm taking that away from the family. I'm taking this away from the kids. Now, I do still have moments where I'm like, well, the kids need this. So, I might not do that because, the babies, which is what I call them. But I know that I could really be like, they better figure it out, because I'm about to go out here and, go get my little travel on.
Right.
I definitely find it to be different, but very exciting, because we get to do the things that like we just put off doing. Not that, no regrets, just put it off. Because, you have responsibilities. You got the kids, and you got to go to football games, and you got to go get the girl to cheerleading practice. And then we got to go get the girl's hair braided. And then you got to go, you got all the list of things. Right. So it's pretty cool to not be on anybody's schedule and be like, I want to sleep in. It's Saturday, and I'm just going to do that because I
Yeah.
and not have to feel like, oh man, I'm a bad mom because I missed the football game this morning.
Gotcha. So if you look back just 10 years, just starting from 10 years prior to that, so does your life look like what you thought it would?
Not at all. No,
Okay.
not 10 years ago, with where I was in my career, I didn't see myself taking the turn that I've taken.
Okay.
10 years ago, even with the kids, with like the directions that all the kids have gone, I would have predicted a different path for how we would have pushed them versus
Okay.
some of the paths that they've chosen to take. So yeah, no, this is not like, I mean, not that it's not bad. It's just like, it's exciting to see it unfold. But as you're seeing some things unfold, it's just kind of like, whoa, that's not what I thought, not how but all right, here we are. Let's go. It's unfolding now. So let's watch it. So it's more exciting for me to watch how the kids unfold their paths differently than what I could have ever imagined when I was holding like these little bitty people, in my arms and all that kind of stuff. So it's very interesting and exciting to see that. But as far as me personally, career wise, no, I was not, I was in the educational field, but I was not direct hands-on the way I am now. So that was very different. 10 years ago, I was in state government working in education. And I literally could not see anything but staying in state government for the rest of my career. And it took, some shifts and some turns and some changes and some choices to get me to where I am today. And now I literally can't see myself being outside of the classroom, hands-on with the kids. So, yeah, it's very different. Because like 10 years ago, if you would have been like, hey, you're going to be a middle school teacher in 10 years, I'd have been like, man, not me. First of all, you're joking. You're playing. I like little people, not the middle schoolers. Like, it's a very different path than what I imagined 10 years ago, I think.
Okay.
And I like it.
Okay. That is always a plus. So
Sam, can you answer the question about the 10 years?
10 years. Oh God. My life looks nothing. 10 years ago, I was living in Illinois. Actually, I was preparing to leave Illinois to get away from Anthony Walker, and to never be near him again. In my mind, at least, that was, my thought process. I was going to come to Georgia, become a Georgia peach, be single, and work my life out. That's what I thought 10 years ago in 2013. And here I am in 2023, and I'm married to Anthony Walker. Married to Anthony Walker yet again. And yeah, so no, 10 years ago was very, very different for me. I literally was trying to figure out what my life was supposed to look like. When both of my kids were small, let's see, AJ would have been 5 and Lexus would have been 3 10 years ago. So I had 2 small kids, no man in my life, and I was in a state that I hated. There was no real going back to New York. You know what I'm saying? So like I was really at a place where I totally had to start all over, and for all intents and purposes by myself. So yeah, 10 years ago was very different. Just my life looks nothing like what I thought it would be. Like I really thought in 10 years I'll be married to somebody else. Like because I knew that I wanted to be married. I probably comfortable in that space, being a wife. So I definitely wanted to do that again. I just didn't think it was gonna be to him again. So yeah, so 10 years later, honestly, like being married to him now is better than it's ever been, even from when we first got married. I mean, we've always kind of managed to I guess like each other, in a sense, but I don't know, our relationship is way better. I mean, now we have teenagers. That is an interesting phase. Um, to see the cute and cuddly turn into the big and stinky. I don't know. Having teenagers has been interesting. Watching the choices that they're making on their limited information, because you can't tell them that even though you've been alive for 13 years you have seen nothing. My daughter is sure, she knows it, she's positive that at 13 she has got it figured out.
Yeah.
All right.
So that is
All right.
right, that is interesting. Just seeing how, hey Gwendy, seeing how the kids have changed. So I'm in a different stage of mothering. I would say like I'm not hovering as much, but I'm sure my kids would disagree. Like I'm definitely what they call it, the helicopter mom or whatever they call it. I'm the hoverer. I'm going to hover, I'm going to smother, I'm going to watch, like, even now sometimes I just go in there and get on AJ's bed. Like he could be sitting in there watching TV. I just go and lay on the bed next door. And like there's a fire. He's gone. Like he's and because I in my mind, and I'm sure there's probably some signs that says I'm doing this wrong, but here we are. In my mind, I want to give them some of the things that I want. And I don't mean just tangible things.
Right.
There were some things that I wanted when I was a teenager, like from my parents, from my mother, because I had one parent, from my mom, that I couldn't always get, or that I didn't get in the way that I would have liked.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to give my kids some of those things. Like I said, there might be some signs that say, don't do that, but here we are. This is what we're doing. So yeah, it's very different. It's interesting to watch kids. As kids get older, like, I noticed that it's also interesting how it interacts with my marriage. Because now it's no more cute, cuddly. Oh, sure, come get in the bed with us. Like there's no more of that. Now it's okay. This is your time, and your time is over. Take your ball, take your box, and like, right. It's different to have to understand that you have to have that cutoff time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because when they're small, you go, mommy's baby. Boo, boo, boo. He said, you're welcome. I look, okay. So it's different. Just how it affects my marriage, and just noticing, the nuances there with having teenagers and being married. So yeah, life is exciting 10 years later, being 47, with teenagers. Most of my friends, their kids are grown. Like, I did this all wrong. You want to talk about somebody that did it wrong? Like, I did this all wrong. When I look, everybody's kids are like growing up or moving out, or they're in college. And I'm like, oh, my son just made it to high school. So yeah, my phases, it's like some of my phases, I was wearing like a helmet, short yellow bus or something, because I didn't navigate it the right way.
You
That's
never
my story. I'm sticking to it.
and it's okay.
Right.
I mean, yeah, this is where we are, but it is very interesting. I will say that. So emotionally, ladies. So Trina, you were saying earlier, you're at this stage of your life where, it's no more, I'm just gonna power through it. Like, nope. Like, so talk about that a little bit.
I was telling Sam earlier that when my kids were smaller, when I would when it's when I was working, what I would do is if I ever got sick or anything, I would just push through and go to work sick or whatever, because I needed to save time, save like any sick time I have for if they got sick, because it was just me. So if they got sick, I had to use that time for save my time for their emergencies, for their stuff. If some emergency happened, I need to save my time for that. Well, let me tell you right now, I'm not powering through. If I'm sick, I'm taking the day off. We're not suffering through no more. I'm a woman of a certain age, and we will not be suffering. The migraine that I had this morning, I said, just power through. Now I'm like, give me all the medicines. We're not just going to suffer. Just give me whatever knocks said thing out. I'm done suffering. So I feel like at this stage, I don't need to power through, try to give me a little bit of a soft life, whatever that thing that people talking about now, the soft life. I want that. So I will not be powering through. If I'm sick, I'm going to take care of myself. I don't need to save time up for my kids and to take them where they need to go. They can get them, they can get themselves to the doctor if they need to go or whatever. I don't have to do that anymore, and I won't.
Okay, Shanetta. So does any of that ring true for you, that you're kind of at that stage where?
I would definitely agree. Definitely a power through type of person. Always have been. Even with my kids, I think I'm very similar to the way Trina was, is that like I tried to reserve time for them. So it was like, oh, okay, I don't feel good today, but I'm going to do this, so that if something or when something is needed for them, like I didn't have to, try to do a whole lot of negotiating because I had something available to me. Now I think that I want to say it was maybe like around my 40th birthday. I said to myself, I've been going for most of my life fast paced. Everything has been fast. And I decided around the time that I turned 40 years ago that I was going to slow things down. And it took me a while to actually let that register within myself that it was okay for me to slow down, and that it was okay for me to move at a slower pace and not be so quick to do everything. And now I think I'm really like settling into that, where I'm like, it's okay for me to not have 5 things booked on Saturday starting at 6 a.m. and ending at 10 p.m. It's okay for me to take my time and go through the day. It's okay for me to cancel and just be like, I don't think I feel like doing that anymore. And I'm just not going to do it. It's okay for me to, say, well, I have one thing to do today, so I'm busy. I can't. Right. And I don't have to explain that. And it's okay to say no to some of the things that, people are trying to get you to do that you just don't feel like doing.
Right.
So settling into that, learning how to use that, because I think that helps me to take care of me, and it helps me to kind of really be the best person that I can be. If I feel like I need therapy, I'm going to go to therapy, and I'm going to make sure I check on me, my heart, my mind. If somebody else doesn't want to go and they feel like they, and I feel like they need it, that's on you. Those are your problems. If you're coming to me with chaos and it's not chaos that I'm welcoming, I'm probably going to be like, oh, well, those are your problems. I love you. Have a nice day. Because like emotionally for me, I don't want to be stressed out. I woke up one morning, me and my husband, we don't argue a lot. So don't get the wrong impression about what I'm about to say. We don't argue a lot at all. He's too goofy to argue with most of the time. So like, it's like pointless. You'll be arguing with yourself. Right. So, we were talking about something, and I think we were looking at something relating to someone else, and it was like they were just arguing, going back and forth. And I literally looked at him and said, I think I'm too old to be arguing with people. Like, I'm just not going to do that. You'll be arguing with yourself, probably trying to argue with me at this phase in life, because I'm probably going to either help you try to fix whatever we're upset about, and if it's no fix to it, I'm probably going to be like, alrighty then, have a nice day. Because I just like, I want to be at peace. I want to be happy. I want to be comfortable in what I'm doing. From whether it's how I feel emotionally to whether I'm in a space that's comfortable or uncomfortable, or whether I'm cold, hot, warm, or my clothes are comfortable. Like, I just want to be comfortable. I don't have time to be uncomfortable at all. If I buy an outfit and it's not comfortable, I'm not wearing it again because I'm not comfortable. I'm not gonna stuff my body into clothes that are uncomfortable, and I'm not gonna put myself into places that are uncomfortable.
Right.
So, like, I'm not gonna do that, and that's just like kind of where I've landed. Is that anything, whether it's, like I said, a shirt that's uncomfortable, or whether it's a space that is uncomfortable, I'm not gonna be there. I'm going to find a way to wiggle my way out of a situation, and I will not wiggle back into it again if I am uncomfortable with it.
So, I will say, when you said the whole, you're learning to slow down, like, sometimes, like, my husband is good for this, and I love him. I promise I do. But sometimes, like, as soon as, like, if it's his day off, as soon as I open my eyes, he's, let's go. It's like off to the races. And I get so angry. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going. I ain't going. I'll stay home. Do it yourself. Like, and he always looks like he's so confused, like he doesn't understand why I don't want to race around all the time. And I keep trying to explain that to him. Like, I'm at the stage where I don't want to race around. I want to do the things I want to do. And then that's it. Like, the night before, in my head, I go over what I'm going to do the next day. No, for real. Like, and I asked him, is it something, if I know he's off, is this something you need to do tomorrow? Like, what do you have planned for tomorrow? So that we could try to be in sync. But it's like he hears a whistle or a gunshot and he just zoom. And I'm like, and I'm gotten to where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay home. I'll see you, when you get back, because I'm like, I want to live my life. I don't want to chase it. And I keep trying to explain that to him. Like, sometimes I feel like I am chasing it. Like, I can't, you can barely enjoy something, because you just shoom, shoom, it's like you just see, I see when kids were little, you look, who was that? You just, hear the feet and, kids going, and then you look, it's another one going that way. Like, sometimes I feel like that's what's happening. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, I'm at a stage where I want to enjoy something. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to do the things that I enjoy. I mean, I understand that no matter how adult you are, there are always going to be things that you probably wish you didn't have to do, that you will have to do. And I'm okay with those things. But some of the extras, I'm with you. Like, it's got to slow down. My day has got to slow down. Or you're going to get the side of me that nobody wants. I don't even want to see that side of me. Like, you get grouchy, you irritable. Who's having fun? Nobody's enjoying this day now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not enjoying it. I know you're not enjoying it. Like, so let's do a difference. I totally agree with that. At a stage, where can we just slow down and live? Like, I don't want to, I keep seeing people, I'm chasing the bag. I don't want to chase it. Mm-mm. I feel like I'm not robbing nobody where I got to chase the money. I'm sorry, I'm not. If I got to, track it down and hunt it down like a bounty hunter, I just don't want it. Like, and that's whatever it is. And I don't mean in terms of working for something. Like, I understand the process. You have to work for things you want. But I don't want to chase anything down. Like, I just really don't. Like, I feel like, I am where I am. Some of it is circumstances, some of it is choices. But at this rate, running around in circles, really doesn't change a lot. So yeah, I totally agree with just being able to slow down and enjoy the moments. Like some of the things, even like you said, like sometimes I was on the phone with somebody yesterday. It was just, and I was just listening, like, and then after a while, I was like, why am I still on this phone? Like, you know, I get it, but it was just a lot. And I'm just like, how much of it is really enjoyable at this point? Like, everything has seasons and everything has twists and turns, but it can't just be a heap of misery. Like, I'm serious. Like at this point, it can't just be, me peeking. Let me see what kind of mood Anthony in today. No, no. You will have to go with God. Go be with God, because I can't. I will walk alone. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really at that stage where I don't want to force things anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like some things shouldn't have to be forced, like friendships. If we meet and we get along, great. If we meet and you like, I don't really like her, great. Like, either way, is okay. Like, and I think sometimes people, you have to get settled in that fact. Like sometimes it's just okay. It's okay. We don't have to force it. We don't have to fake it. We don't have to, search for it and reinvent the wheel. It's just okay. And like that's the stage I'm at. Like at this point, it's just okay. Okay, you don't like me. I'm sorry you don't like me. But it's okay. And I can go that way. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really at that stage where like, oh, you don't want me to do that? Okay, I'm fine with that too. I won't do that. And I'll go the other way. And I think like I definitely believe like that's a part of age and maturity where you don't have to force things anymore.
Right.
Yeah, that is my thing. Like, my daughter, she's in chorus. Okay. And it's like the Chronicles of Chorus, because every time they have practice, she comes home and there's a little boy that's in chorus. And I guess they have been telling him his whole life that he can sing. And that's great. But it's chorus. So well, Trina, you've been in chorus. So when you in chorus and you're singing a chorus song, it's a collective song.
Mm-hmm.
But this young man, I don't think he understands the thought behind chorus. Like they were singing at the football game. They were supposed to do, it was like, I don't know, maybe 6 of them. They're supposed to do the Star Spangled Banner together. And he was singing like everything was like a riff. Like it was so crazy to be sitting there listening to it. And then what made it even worse, that when he started to riff, then my daughter started singing louder. So now it's like all you hear is the two of them trying to out sing each other. And I don't know if I was more embarrassed than, I don't know. I was just embarrassed. Like I really just wanted to climb under the bleacher, because I'm like, is this my child? And I'm trying to explain to her, like, let him do it. Like, it's okay. Like it's really okay. If he wants to be Luther, let him be Luther. If he want to be, was it David Ruffin and the Temptation?
Right.
Girl, do the Temptation. Let him have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's hard trying to explain that principle, to a 13-year-old. I'm like, you don't have anything to prove. And I get it. At 13, you don't really get it. But like at 47, I am thoroughly comfortable in that fact. Right. I don't have to prove nothing to you. I don't like, you don't like the way I cook? Okay, eat something else. You don't like, you know what I'm saying? You don't like the way I dress? Look over there. Like I'm so at the stage where like I don't wanna I don't wanna impress you. Like if just Sam ain't good enough, I don't know what to tell you. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So how do you guys adjust to that? Like, with just I know you've been in situations where you see people that just be trying really hard. You just kind of watch people. Sometimes, come on, we all came up in church. In church is where people be trying really hard to do some of everything. And and so like how do you process those moments?
I think for me, I have I think as a teenager, as a young person, I probably wasn't as comfortable with just being myself as I got older. But I think in my 20s is where I kind of figured out that I have to be me and I can't try to do things for other people. And I have to be comfortable with who I am and settle in that. I'm not sure what happened that kind of made me start to feel more and more like that. But I do think that I spent a lot of my childhood years and teenage years um, trying to be perfect for whatever circumstance or situation I was in. And sometimes it was harder than other times, depending on the environment. Um, as I began to learn that you are who you are and you were made to be who you are, and all of your awkwardness and all of your differentness from other people, like I'm just not, the typical run of the mill, this age girl. Like
Right,
I am me, I'm who I am, and if I'm different than you, that's okay. And
right.
I think that that's important, even like with what you were telling your baby with, like, you don't have to try to outshine anybody. You don't have to, just do you, just be you, just do what you're doing. Don't worry about them. That's something that's so hard to accept when you spent, and it's good that she has a mom like you to say that to her, because I think that some girls or some of us, we just miss that somewhere along the way. And we are so busy trying to be everything for everyone that by the time we're in our 40s, we don't know how to be ourselves, because all we've been doing is being everything for everyone. So she's really blessed to have you, like, giving her that message right now.
Hold
Be-
on. Let me get her so she can hear you say that.
because that's super important though, because like she'll start to hear your voice in her head when she's
Oh,
doing something. She'll start to hear the inner voice that she has that will tell her, hey, I can just be me. I don't have to try to please anybody, or and I think that's super important. And I think for me, I really began to hear that and know that about myself probably in my 20s, where it was like, okay, I'm different. I'll even go as far as saying I'm a little weird, and that's okay. Like
right.
I literally began to learn how to say to people up front, like, "Hey, I'm a little different. Don't worry, it's not you, it's me. I'm different." And like, you know how I am even about my food. Like the first time I came over to your house, like what I called you and was like, or talked to you or text you or whatever, and was like, "Listen, I'm different. I'm weird when it comes to food. So please don't be offended if I get to your house and I don't eat." Um, I'm okay with announcing that I am different and that I am weird. And I think that that sometimes catches people off guard, because they're like, oh, so like you're not going to try to, nope, I'm not wiggling nowhere I don't fit. Not fit. I am weird. I am different. And that is okay. I'm okay with it. You're not okay with it. Get used to it, because here we are. So I think that's important, to be able to acknowledge that you're comfortable in your own skin. You're comfortable with who you are and what you like. And what you like is what you like. And what you want to do is what you want to do. Um, and that if you're comfortable with it, the people around you will begin to become more comfortable with who you are.
And just for the record, she eats all my food.
I do, because you already know.
Listen, you know what's so funny? That was more like a challenge for me. Like, because I'm picky with the stuff I eat too. So it was like a challenge to see, if I could get you to eat something. So in the beginning, it's like watching, trying to see, if it happens. It was like a challenge for me, but yeah. So Trina, like, I remember like when we were teenagers, and I know Trina trying to make it seem like, oh, I sing a little bit, like it's no big deal. Like I used to think, like, oh my God, this girl has like this amazing voice. And the only place I was in the choir was at church. I had never sung nothing until I was 10 years old. So like, in the beginning, you were teenagers and they like, she alto and a soprano and everything else that she can, belt out of there. And I was struggling in the alto section somewhere. And at first, you feel like so small. And then I got to the point where I was like, well, listen, I'm gonna sing this note. If it's the wrong one, I'm gonna be loud and wrong. But I'm gonna give it, like I'm just gonna give it the Sam best. Like that's all I got. If it was wrong, Lisa be like, Sam, like, let's fix that one a little bit. But I'm like, look, loud and wrong, this is what I got. Like I learned, like even as a teenager, look, all I got is this is my best. This is all I can. But for a minute though, when you see, I can understand how, when you see other people, if you're not careful, you could, feel threatened by something. And I was like, man, I just gonna do my best. And I remember like she used to hate to sing sometimes. Probably still do. She didn't like it. I'm like, I wish I could sing like that. I could be singing every time. I'd be singing every time somebody called my name. And I was like, that's exactly why the Lord didn't let me sing, because I'd be singing for no reason. Just because. So Trina, have you had those moments, where you felt, one way or another?
Well, like as far as being comfortable where I am and in who I am, like there's some times where out of necessity I have to be kind of more than that. So like in this forum,
I knew that was coming.
now, normally in a conversation, I'm just going to sit there quietly until I have a little something to interject, and I'll just hop in and say it, and then I'm sitting there the rest of the time or whatever. So there's times where I have to push myself and be more just out of necessity. I had an interview, and, in the interview, it was like a group, and I had to be personable and talk and look enthusiastic. And I prepared myself for that. So I was like, okay, so let me do this for this purpose. But so say I get hired, they're not going to get that Katrina. They're not going to get interview Katrina. They're going to get, that's the way. So sometimes, and I'm comfortable in who I am, but in certain spaces and functions, I have to be more for that particular thing. And, I don't like it, but sometimes you have to kind of, I don't want to call it perform, but listen, you got to do what you got to do. But I've learned to prepare for those things. Like, I don't like to be in a space where I have to network and make small talk and, talk to people. I don't like that. But if I have to do it, like now I've prepared certain things to talk about. Like I have topics at the ready in my mind. Like if I know, like, okay, we can always talk about, especially if they have kids, forget it. Just be like, oh, so where are they at in school or where? Blah, blah, blah. Then just let them talk. And then I'll just sit there and nod my head. That's right. You're right. So true. So they can talk and then I could just jump in with my little ad libs. See, that's what I do. See, I'm prepared. Before, when I was younger, I didn't know how to do that. So, like, especially if it's a woman and she has small kids, forget it. Are they sleeping at night? Boom, that gives them a whole 5 minutes to talk, and I don't have to say nothing. They sleep through the night. That's the great, because then now they got 5 minutes to talk about their little baby and how they not sleeping and what they eating and all. And I can, oh yeah, what? Wow, that's a lot. See, I'm prepared for the networking just by tossing a question out there and letting them go. So that's like you, as you get older, like you learn how to deal with certain awkward situations, or, so now I have I have a list of things that I know that I could throw out there and get them to talk, and then I could just, and be quiet. I said, I just gave away my secret.
Yeah, you definitely did. The next time I'm talking to you, you be like, really? What? We're going to have a problem. I just want you to know.
What did she ask me? And I just started talking.
Right. Like, I'm going to be consciously thinking about that now. Every time that I talk to you, I'm really going to have to think about that. But I mean, honestly, it is really interesting when you take the time to slow down and really look at your life and look at how you've changed, how circumstances have changed, how you've grown, how there's some things about you that will always remain. Like, there's parts of me. I'm not gonna say they're never gonna change, because the Lord is able, but
He's able.
There's some things down in there that that I know about myself, like, so that I know, like, I can feel my temperature rising. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my temper isn't as bad as it used to be, but like now, I can recognize it. I can regulate it in the sense that I know when I've had enough, when it's time to exit stage left. So like those things are important to know about yourself. And to know your limits. I think that's important. Like, get to a place where you know your limits. Don't always be the person that's looking around trying to figure out, how did I wind up here? Like, if you're always that person, if at least once a week you're asking yourself, how did this happen? You might seriously want to reevaluate the way you make decisions, because you don't know your limits. Like, you have to know your limits. I would say, even growing up, I was kind of good about that. I know this is going to sound really bad, but like trying to be saved and be a teenager, I was always good at finding that line, like right before you cross over all the way into sin. I knew that line. It's a terrible thing, but a teenager, teenagers will be teenagers. So it's important to know your limits, know your boundaries. Don't let people always push you outside of your boundaries, especially when it's in an unhealthy way. Now, people are trying to stretch you to be more, more special and fantastic, then that's acceptable, Katrina. But like, honestly, know your boundaries. Know your safe space too. Don't let people always, drag you into their space. So like you said, Shana, drag you into their chaos, and you get off the phone with them, and now you biting your kid's head off, or you're telling your husband, get out of my face, because you're so worked up, from somebody else's chaos. I think those things are important. Self-awareness, and realizing that at any point you can make a different decision. Like I said, 10 years ago, I was trying to be anywhere that Anthony Walker wasn't. And anybody that talked to me 10 years ago, I was 100% comfortable letting them know I didn't want to be anywhere he was. And even when we decided to, like, try to work things out or whatever, I didn't have no feelings about telling people, that I had made another decision. Like, I really did, like, I was so comfortable in the fact that I can change my mind anytime I want. That, I was comfortable enough to make a different decision. And I really didn't care, about what people said. So get to that space where you're comfortable enough that, okay, yeah, I decided this on Monday, but, today is Thursday. And now I think I need to do something else for my well-being,
Right.
for my peace, for my state of mind, Sometimes stress can be bad on your health. Like it's bad on your body. Like, so it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change direction. It's okay, like you said, Shanetta, to say no. Like them no's are okay. It's okay. She taught me that even at church. She made me learn the hard way. Say no. I missed it the first time, but I promise next time I got it. Because I somehow I turned into a kid and didn't realize that I could say no. But thank you, Shanetta, because you reminded me that I am 47 years old and I can say no. So it's okay. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to laugh at yourself because I do that often as well. Sometimes I'm like, girl, you are messing up.
Right.
And you shake it off and you keep moving. As serious as life is, it does not have to break you. It doesn't, you don't have to lose. You don't always have to be the victim or at life's mercy. Like, oh, I don't know why everything keeps happening to me. Okay, it's happening to all of us. We all have our own lane in this life race. Right. The only thing that stops, that stops the motion is you dying. So as long as you're alive, it's gonna be something else around the corner. And sometimes you go around the corner and you get knocked down. You get back up, go around another corner, it's another knockdown. Unfortunately, that's the road of life sometimes. And it's okay to know that. And it's okay to keep moving. So we are hoping that, evaluate what phase you're at in your life. Think about maybe, like we talked about, your last 10 years. Does it look like what you thought it would? Is it what you hoped it'd be? And then if not, is it better or is it worse? And if it's worse, how do you change it? How do you turn it around? Make another decision. If you went left, go right. As long as you're breathing, it's never too late. And it's okay to make another decision. Ladies, did you have any last words?
I think that was good.
So until next week, it is our goal to be back Thursday at 8:00. But like I told y'all, sometimes I'm telling you, I hit that corner on Thursday and life be like, bam. And I'm not always able to regroup in time to get on here and be fabulous. So when I'm feeling less than fabulous, I have to be honest, I cannot get on here and lie and pretend. So I don't want to make you feel less than fabulous. So I have to bring my fabulous self to the screen. So until next Thursday, guys, be safe. And hopefully we will see you then. If you're watching a replay, thank you. And I hope that you guys enjoyed.
Thank you for watching.